Hey everybody, welcome back. We are getting ready to watch some more Game of Thrones. I uh I attempted to do a live stream on day of recording this. I have 501 subscribers and I thought, well, I've been meaning to try out the live streaming stuff and everything, and so I thought I would give it a try and it was a fail. Maybe by the time you guys see this, I'll have figured it out, but as of right now, it was an utter failure. So maybe by 1,000 subscribers, I'll get it figured out. That'll be what, another 2 years at the rate that I've been going? Actually, probably longer than that because it's slowed down a bit. I don't push the subscriber thing. At any rate, we're going to watch some Game of Thrones instead since I couldn't get it working. And we are on season one, episode three. And this episode is called Lord Snow. So if I'm following everything correctly, well, I am following everything correctly up to this point. I think Lord Snow is Jon Snow, I'm assuming. It could be talking about his father, but I don't think his father's in the picture at all. Or we might be learning about his father. I don't know. His father is Ned. So we don't know who his mother is. So they must be talking about John, and so we're going to be watching him some. Pretty wants to be held. So we're going to be watching him some, and he's at the wall right now. Okay, come here. He's at the wall, and he's going to be training, I think they said, for guarding the wall. And I can't tell if guarding the wall is keeping things in or keeping things out or anything like that. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Uh, that's Smokey making all that noise, climbing the pole. As she climbs up. So I don't know if we're gonna learn about more about these White Walkers, if we're going to just learn about the people in general. John is there. Starts with a T. Tyrion. Tyrion. And I can't think of the actor's name. I would just say the actor's name. um, yeah, he's there at the wall. I don't know why they traveled separately, but apparently they traveled separately. And there's some others that are there, ready to be trained. I don't. I didn't get the impression that Tyrion, whatever his name is, I'm just going to call him Ty till I remember what his name is. I I don't think he's necessarily training for being a guard, but I might be wrong. I don't know because they were looking at John funny for garden, so I don't know. Oh, Mama, I can't remember Mama's name. Ned's wife, Grace. Is it Grace? Is racing to let Ned know that she believes the Laniers, Lan, not Lanyard. It's not Lanyard. Oh, and you can see fangs in her window. Barely. The shine's a bit bright on her, isn't it? We just got done with a thunderstorm, so got my groceries just in time. Went out to eat with a friend. It was my first time eating in a restaurant. Make sure I'm accurate with that. Yep. First time eating in a restaurant since COVID. So I told Dad, I said, we'll have to avoid each other for a little while. She's racing to let him know what she thinks. I get sidetracked easily. If you haven't watched any of my other shows, I squirrel all the time. If you don't like that, you probably shouldn't watch. Uh, I do ramble also. I try not to do that most times, but I do ramble. And if you see me glancing over here, that's because I've got the second monitor set up right now and it's got the OBS on it. So I'll try not to look over there. Try hard not to look over there. So she's racing to let him know her theory. I don't think they've got it 100% guaranteed that that's the case because as she was away, little Bran woke up. He woke up as Ned was killing Lady. I don't know why he didn't fake it or something for killing Lady and sent her away or something like that. But at any rate, he killed her. As far as we know, he did it off screen, which they might do because people don't like animals getting hurt. Most animals. Um, but it could be that he didn't really kill her. He just did something to her to make those noises, and who knows? I don't know. And now we'll have to see if little Pipsqueak still likes her beloved prince or if she's starting to see his true colors now. But I wondered, since they were showing the death of Lady and the waking of Bran at the same time, I was wondering if they're trying to indicate an exchange of souls or something like that. I don't know how mystical and all that the show goes. I mean, we've got dragon eggs, and that's the only supernatural so far, isn't it? I think that's the only supernatural. So I don't know. The way they were filming that, though, that's the impression I was getting. So we'll see if they elaborate on that anymore or not. And the queen and her brother lover. What are you doing? Can you guys see her? No, you can't. You can see her tail. She was laying upside down. At any rate, the queen and her brother lover are kind of evil, so we're discovering that as well. I think that's it for catching up on where we're at. So let's go ahead. Excuse me, burps. Let's go ahead and get these next two episodes watched so that I can get the disc in the mail and be ready for the next set and hopefully get ahead far enough that the delays on getting the DVDs will not impact uploads too much once I start uploading, which if you're watching this, I've started uploading. So I've only got like four more episodes, I think, of Good Witch to load before we start doing Game of Thrones. So all right, Purpur's in place. She's laying down. You can see her rump, a little bit of her head. Let's go ahead and see what's happening. And this also allows me to see if the talking volume is okay. So hopefully it's loud enough. I did have to turn it down a little bit because the music was as loud as me. And the whole purpose of a reaction is for you guys to be able to hear what I'm saying and that sort of thing. So hopefully we've we've got it adjusted so it's not too low. Although there are times I have to turn my speakers up a little bit more when I'm editing because it's hard to hear. Um, okay, here we go. Lord Snow. The drawback of not having skip intro. That's a big place. So she hasn't made it to Ned yet, from what we can tell. Kind of has a Babylon feel to it, especially with the palm trees.
Get the girls settled in. I'll be back in time for supper. Jory, you go with them.
Yes, my lord.
If you'd
Jory.
like to change into something more
Try to
appropriate.
remember that name. Oh, is that the throne? I don't have my contacts in either.
What's the line? The king shits and the hand wipes.
Now that's brother lover, right? Ned doesn't like him, does
Must be
he?
strange for you. 500 men And this room was silent as a crypt. Except for the screams, of course.
So they're not going to show us what happened?
We are all praying for Prince Joffrey's full recovery.
Shame you didn't say pray for the butcher's son.
He doesn't like that other guy either, does he?
But I fear His Grace doesn't always listen.
Counting coppers, he calls it.
I'll speak to him tomorrow.
I was going to say, if you're in debt, you don't need to be spending more.
Ow, please, it's nearly healed.
It's ugly.
In other words, don't be a
You
baby.
should have scars. Someday, you'll sit on the throne and the truth will be what you make it.
Do I have to marry her?
I was going to call him a name. I was like, we'll hold off.
So you agree? The Starks are enemies.
Turned up the volume some because it looks like it's running lower than the
Is an
music.
enemy.
So I'll have to remember not to talk when the music's playing.
Practicing for what?
The prince.
I stop.
He's a liar and a coward, and he killed my friend.
The hound killed your friend.
I'm that little girl.
Don't you like it?
I haven't played with dolls since I was 8. May I be excused?
Maybe she and her beloved prince are made for each other.
I know this Maker's Mark. This is Micken's work. Where did you get this? This is
Why
no
won't
toy.
she tell him?
Do you know the first thing about sword fighting?
Stick him with the pointy end.
That's the essence of it.
I do like her gumption.
She must take his side, even when he's wrong.
But how can you let her marry someone like that?
Good question.
If you're going to own a sword, you better know how to use it.
So is he going to appoint somebody to teach her?
I know a story about a crow.
I hate your stories.
I know a story about a boy who hated stories. I could tell you about Sir Duncan the Tall. Oh, my sweet summer child, what do you know about fear? Fear is for the
Is that
winter,
grandma or
when the
somebody
snow-
else? I don't think she's a grandmother. But probably one of
One time
the
she told me,
servants.
you never fall.
I did, though. It's true, isn't it?
So he's not willing to tell
What
the
my
truth.
saloons.
Don't ever say that.
I'd rather be dead.
So he's paralyzed.
You little worm! You take me for some back alley Sally.
I lost this dagger.
To whom?
Tyrion Lannister.
Tyrion. Try to remember that. So why is it that Tyrion is there? Is like he overseeing things?
A raven came for Ned Stark's son.
Good news or bad?
Both.
He's awake.
A raven from Winterfell this morning.
Okay, so they use ravens as and crows. Did they say crow? Ravens as messenger.
Good
pigeon.
news?
Can't talk.
Ah, the Starks. Quick tempers, slow minds.
So he doesn't think highly of Ned either.
I think they would look marvelous decorating spikes in King's Landing. Perhaps I'll write to my sister, the Queen, about it. Pip was caught stealing a wheel of cheese his little sister hadn't eaten in 3 days.
Does
He
Tyrion
was given
kind
a
of
choice, his right
own
hand or
this?
the wall. I've been asking
Oversees
Lord
everything
Commander
here?
about them.
A fool's task, admittedly, but I've never been able to refuse your wife anything.
I won't forget this.
Hello.
You're a true friend.
Did you ever shoot the bag?
Don't tell anyone.
They can write a ballad about us. The war for Cersei's cunt.
Yeah, he deserved that.
Who named you? Some half-wit with a stutter?
Well, that wasn't cool.
It's empty, Your Grace.
What do you mean it's empty?
There's no more wine.
Is that what empty means? So get more.
Well, if there's no more wine, he can't really
Tell
get
your
any more.
cousin-
So is this basically letting us know
Surrounded by
that
monsters.
the king is no longer the man that Ned once knew?
You killed Sam and Toyn with the counter riposte. Best move I ever saw.
Good fighter, Toyn, but he lacked stamina.
So is
You're
that his
outlaw.
father? I always thought that was cool how the wind goes through the trees or tall grass or anything like that, where tall grass blades, where it shows kind of the way the wind blows.
You're learning to talk like a queen.
Not a queen. A Khaleesi.
Khaleesi. I couldn't remember her name. All I wanted to say was Kelsey, and I knew that wasn't right.
I don't take orders from savages or their sluts. Did
He
you
needs
hear?
to die.
Tell him I don't want my brother harmed. Khaleesi vasalo memenem asisa.
Shall we return to the Khalasar, Khaleesi?
And she just learned she has more power than her brother right now.
Walk.
I am enjoying this part. It looks bitter cold. Locked himself in. Oh, it moves him? Okay. Thought it was like a prison cell or something. I was like, why would he be locking himself in? Gonna get windburn on those cheeks.
It's something to think about while you're drinking your wine down there, enjoying your brothels.
The wine that they're out of.
Then nothing someone says before the word but really counts.
But.
So Tyrion is gonna take Bello, is that his name?
I think he's starting
With him?
to like me. So, you're heading down to King's Landing too?
Aye. Day after tomorrow.
Oh, so it wasn't planned
I
for them
get
to go
about
together.
half of my recruits from their dungeons.
What are you doing? When was last time you bleed, Khaleesi? You change,
I was gonna say, did she look to see if her breasts were bigger before cupping them?
That's where the broadsword has the
Is that guy going to die because
Designed for
he
piercing
didn't listen to brother?
She does not bleed for 2 moons. Her belly starts to swell.
So it's been 2 months already then.
Don't
I wonder
stand
why
so
they're
still.
using actual
Target
swords
is
rather
a moving
than
target.
play swords, for lack of a better word, practice swords.
8, no, 9.
All of them brief.
Now they say the winter of my birth was 3 years long, Maester Aemon.
This summer has lasted 9. But reports from
So
the
their
Citadel tell us
seasons
the
are
days
not
grow
like
shorter.
quarterly
Starks
seasons.
are all right eventually.
Anna. Sekenessa.
So I take it she's telling him that she's pregnant. Even though I can't read subtitles fast, every once in a while I wish we had them.
Tell him I miss him. Tell him I'd visit if I could.
Of course.
I don't know if I would trust
Never
him,
walk
although he
again.
doesn't know not to trust him.
If you're going to be a cripple,
But he
better
seems
to
to
be a rich
know that his
take care, Snow.
brother and sister
I
are
will,
the
I will.
ones that hurt Bran to begin with.
Tomorrow you will catch it. Now pick it up. That
So
is
her
not the
dad
way,
did
boy.
get her somebody to teach her.
I'm a girl.
Boy, girl, you are a sword. That is all.
She's using 2 hands. She caught it. Is he remembering his father and brother? Oh, I thought we were getting a flashback. Never mind. He didn't have a happy look there at the end. So, feel like I didn't talk much. Hopefully I talked enough. We're still getting some build up. We're still learning some history. We learned that his father and brother were killed in front of a bunch of people there at the king's palace. I'm not sure exactly what that place is other than King's Landing, but I'm assuming it's the palace and the throne room where his brother and his father were killed. And why nobody stood up to him is not stood up to him, but why everybody just stood around I don't know. So I don't know if we're going to get more of that story or not. I do think it's cool that he's letting his daughter learn sword fighting, and she's got a lot to learn. I do like the instructor that's teaching her. I like his approach to it. And then Khaleesi is finding her power. I don't know if the guy who I don't know what his role is, but he's like a mentor, guide, advisor type of person. I don't know if he's now in the crosshairs because of not doing anything to defend Khaleesi's brother, who is an asshole, just to put it nicely. Grace, or whatever her name is, has told Ned her theory. And so now Ned needs to figure out how to find the proof. But the king certainly did have a whole different presentation to himself than he did when they were at Ned's place. So that's not giving me high hopes that he will listen to anything that Ned says. I don't like the fact that Ned seems to realize that the prince lied and is still not doing anything to defend his daughter or prevent his other daughter from marrying him or anything like that. And then John seems to have more skills than all the other ones. So I don't know if it's necessarily training for him, but him helping train the others. Although he does need to learn the ways at the wall, right? Because he hasn't been at the wall as far as working or anything. And Benjen, I'll have to remember his name because it's like Benjamin. He seems very proud and guarded against Tyrion, which might be wise because we don't know yet. We know he doesn't really care for his brother or sister, but we also don't know if he would stand up and defend them. I mean, they were getting along at that breakfast or whatever, and he seemed to have an idea that they were doing things they shouldn't be doing. And he seemed to know that they were involved with Brant somehow. So, I don't know. I don't know if we can trust Tyrion. And that's it. That's coming to my head right away. So, I will say thank you for joining me on this one, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.